In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my review of Halo Flashpoint. But before we get into today's video, just want to share with you what this month's GGGGs are. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. And for this month of January of 2025, we have the Nemesis Lockdown KS version pledge, which I received, but I never even opened out of the box. So you're going to be receiving all of these stretch goals that came with my pledge, and I'll be mailing that out to one of my Patreon supporters who will receive the entire box. Also, we have $100 going towards a crowdfunding campaign, which my Patreon supporters will be voting upon. Go ahead and use the link below to go to my Patreon page where you can find out more information on how you can get in on the chance of being chosen by Bob to receive one of these gratitude gifts at the end of the month. So many of you might have seen my video where I reviewed Kill Team versus Deadzone, and Halo Flashpoint is built around the engine of Deadzone. So a lot of the positives that I have to say about Halo Flashpoint is going to be coming from the fact that Deadzone is a super good rule set and one of my favorite skirmish games. So go ahead and check out that video if you haven't done so already, as that's going to be relevant to a lot of the points that I'm going to be making about Halo Flashpoint. Also use the timestamps below if you want to skip to any particular section. But let me go ahead and share right off the bat what your purchasing options are for this game, because I think that's one of the major benefits of Halo is that it has a pretty affordable entry point. And here is on US Amazon. Here are the prices. You're going to get the Recon Edition for only $70 and the Spartan Edition for $124, which is pretty affordable. Let me share with you what the differences are between the two. So the Recon Edition is the cheaper one, and basically you're getting 8 models, so 4 to a side, and they are identical models to one another. You also are getting the terrain, which is fantastic, pre-colored and double-sided. So you get all the terrain that you need. You get this fold-out map, gridded map, as well as all of the dice and the chits that you need in order to play the game, as well as the player dashboards. So everything that you need, you're going to be able to find. And at a $70 price point, I think that is one of the most affordable skirmish box sets that you're going to find out there. Now, alternatively, you can purchase from Miniature Market here in the United States, and it's even cheaper at $68 for the Recon Edition and then $113 for the Spartan Edition. Now go ahead and use the link below if you don't mind using my Amazon affiliate link, because I receive a kickback from any of the purchases that are made through Amazon, and that just helps out my channel while it costs you nothing in order to do so. So this is the edition that I purchased, is the Spartan Edition, and this is going to give you twice as many Spartans in addition to 4 Covenant miniatures. And the great thing about this, including the Recon Edition, is that they are colored plastic so that you don't need to paint it. Now, of course, I love painting miniatures, so I went ahead and painted all of my miniatures, which I'll show you later. But it makes it so that you can jump right into the game and you know which side your miniatures are on. The Spartan Edition also has a cardboard fold-out map, so you're going to get 2 different maps with the Spartan Edition. You're also going to get the same amount of cardboard terrain, colored terrain, and all of the dice. That is the same with the Recon Edition. But you do get a bunch of other tokens, 3D tokens, that you have only the 2D tokens in the Recon Edition that you see here. So for example, the flag, some of the crates, the spawn points for the equipment, that is all 3D plastic. So you're getting a little bit more with the Spartan Edition. So I got the Spartan Edition mostly for all of these extra bits, but additionally for twice the number of miniatures that you're going to be able to get with this edition. So theoretically, you could actually play with 4 people, where each player is going to have 4 of each one of the Spartans that are available in Wave 1. Mantic does have plans on expanding, and I'll mention that at the end of the video, but currently we are in Wave 1, and March of 2025, they're going to come out with Wave 2. You're also able to buy a dice booster set, which you don't need because both sides only use 3 of the command dice, and you can just buy a ton of D8s anywhere that you want. You don't have to spend $20 in order to do that. But some people have complained that there aren't enough D8s in the base box. But again, I suggest just buying a bag of D8s if you're running out or need more of those, and that's going to be a lot cheaper than $20. Also, there is an exclusive Master Chief figure that you can only get if you purchase this paint set. I think it's overpriced. Here in Miniature Market, it is $45, but I have all the paints that I need. So if you're just getting into painting, maybe this is worth it. But I sort of don't like it that the only way you can get Master Chief is to purchase this paint set. I don't think it's necessary though, because there are plenty of differences between the 4 Spartans that are available even in the Recon edition. And all that the Spartan edition is doing is just multiplying the same types of stats on the different units, but you're just getting double the number. And let me go ahead and show you how I painted up my set here. Because you're getting 2 of the same, so for example, look at this pink guy here. I basically painted it exactly the same to match the card so that it's really easy to tell which one of the Spartans goes to which data sheet. But I put one on sort of a reddish base here and the other one in a gray so that you know which one is on the blue team and which one is on the red team. And then with the Covenant, with the aliens, I put them on a brown base because they could be played on either side. Even though you could paint these up any way that you want, matching it with the data cards makes it so much easier to keep track of which Spartan has which abilities. So just keep that in mind. And sort of the 4 different groups is you have a Deadeye, which is better with their shoot stat. You have a Brawler, which is better with their hand-to-hand. One guy is shooting out grenades, and then you have your leader. So just keep that in mind that even if you play with 4 different players, that every team potentially can be exactly the same with the exact same stats. And that's going to make the point of entry a lot easier, because I feel like a lot of in learning a new game is just trying to figure out what kind of abilities and stats each of your units have. And when you have 20 different armies right off the bat or 20 different factions, not only are you learning your own character's abilities, but you also need to learn the opposing team's abilities so that you know how to counteract it. By having everyone have basically the same stats and the 4 different kinds of Spartans makes the point of entry super, super easy. Additionally, with the Spartan set, you're going to get the different capabilities of the aliens of the Covenant. So that's just adding a little bit of complexity. But I just like that the starter box has all of the same characters. You're not really doing list building, even Deadzone, where you have a ton of options. And I think for beginners, sometimes list building is super overwhelming. So I think they've done a good job by limiting it to 4 different roles in the starter box set. And it just makes it a lot easier to jump into. You're not overwhelmed with trying to figure out which options you can pick up. But painting is, again, optional because they're coming out in colored plastic. You can jump in right away because you have the cardboard terrain. Again, you can get a game in as soon as you open the box, and that's also beginner friendly. And it didn't take me very long to paint my miniatures. I just spray painted it black and put color on top of that. Super easy to paint up. I was able to paint up all the miniatures, you know, in a day. So very, very easy if you want to try out painting. And I think there's a number of other tutorials out there. In this video, really quickly, I'm not doing a how to play because on the website, and use the link below if you want to go to Mantic's website, there is a learn to play and a series of videos that you can follow along here. Also, just do a Google search on YouTube, and a couple other people have already done tutorials on how to play. So if you don't want to go through 6 different videos or 7 different videos, you can just click on one of those that you find online in order to learn to play. So what are my thoughts, especially as a Deadzone player, about the Halo Flashpoint game? Again, like I mentioned below, I think Mantic is super smart in making this super approachable for brand new players, for people who haven't even played tabletop miniature skirmishes before. And the IP, I think a lot of people are familiar with the IP. And since they came out with this, you know, during fall of 2024, it's been super successful. A lot of people have gotten into it. I know our Mantic gaming group, that they had, I think, 40 people come in for the demo game day. And that's amazing. So I think there's going to be a good community of people that are going to be interested in being involved in playing this game. And it is so easy to pick up. It is so easy to teach that, in my eyes, it really is super smart of Mantic to have picked up this IP and created this game that is centered around Deadzone. Now, I'm going to mention in a little bit some of the differences between this and Deadzone, but right off the bat, I think this game is easier to get into because there isn't list building, because you only have 4 miniatures that you're fielding on the board. And that just makes the entry point a lot easier. I will also say, I forgot to mention that the miniatures, I do like it better because they are bigger. They're like more 40mm miniatures than they are the standard 28 from Mantic's other miniatures. And that's one of the big complaints that I've had with Mantic, is that their miniatures are B class. Some of them are even C class in terms of quality. So I've never super liked. I'd rather 3D print my own miniatures. But in this case, because they are bigger, they're taller, easier to paint. I actually like the miniatures a lot. I didn't feel compelled, even though there's a lot of STL files for Spartans out there. I didn't feel compelled to print out alternatives, but felt fine using the ones that came in the box set. So overall, one of the big differences is this game is a lot easier to step into, and you can just get up and play. You don't have to be a tabletop wargamer like myself in order to get into it. So in terms of entry and a gateway into skirmish games or war games, I think this is one of the best sets that I've seen. It is pretty fast paced. It is pretty quick, and based off of how many kills you need in order to win a game, you can determine how long a game can be. So I did play sort of the 4 kills version of it, and we were done in maybe 40 minutes. So very, very quick to pick up a game, but you can extend that out by increasing the number of kills required to win. So overall, there's a lot of adjustments that you can make, because I don't think a lot of people would tolerate, you know, a 3-hour skirmisher like Kill Team 2024 is. So this is, again, just they made it so that it's very, very approachable. Now let me go ahead and talk about some of the comparisons and differences with Deadzone, if you are familiar with that. Or one of the biggest similarities right off the bat that I really like is you do have grid movement rather than measuring with a tape measure. So that makes movement super easy. You have pretty easy to understand stat line for each one of the Spartans, and it's very easy to work through that. It's not super complicated. There aren't a million rolls that you have to have. They are opposed, where you do a shoot roll, and then you take off some of their energy shields and armor, and then you do damage. And then you have an opposed save roll to see if you can mitigate some of that. So very, very easy dice resolution. Also, I love the fact that it is D8s instead of D6s, because you just have a wider range of rolls and just statistics. And I love the fact that they have the headshot rule, which is exploding 8s in Deadzone. So one of my favorite features of Deadzone is that you have exploding 8s, which means when you roll an 8, you get to roll another die to see if you hit or not. And you can get on an 8 train where you're just rolling constant 8s. And that's one of the things that I love about Deadzone, is that even your weakest character can end up killing one of their major baddies, because you can get on this 8 train and get a huge number of successes. Now, obviously that's rare, statistically rare to have that happen, but I've seen it happen, and it's just epic and it's cinematic. So I just love the fact that there are exploding 8s, and in this case, they retained that in Halo and had it be called headshots instead. So super cinematic. I love that idea, and I think they captured it beautifully. And some of the differences is that they really did capture some of the feel of the video game. So you have a couple of things that's different from Deadzone, which is you have respawning. So when one of your Spartans die, it can respawn back onto the board. So that's totally different. Obviously, you can't do that in Deadzone. When someone dies, you just pull them off the board. Also, you have a ton of weapon and item drops, way more than in Deadzone. So that makes it so that you are able to pick up better rifles, better weapons, and anyone can grab them if they get over to the space. So that's very similar to the weapon drops in the video game. So I think they were able to capture a lot of some of the features to make it feel like the video game if you have that experience. I was a little bit worried that it would be goofy or didn't feel very good or messed too much with the formula that makes Deadzone really successful. But they didn't. I think they retained most of the awesome features, streamlined gameplay of Deadzone, and at the same time were able to overlay some of the feel of the video game so that those who are coming from the video game franchise will see things that they're familiar with in the game. So I think that's fantastic. I think that is a great way, again, to make it approachable for new players. And the fact that you respawn, I think also that makes it less frustrating, where the other side can just roll over their opponent if they just kill their units right off the board. So I think, again, the respawn is a good choice to make it really people to continue to have fun, even if they get shot off the board. And in fact, I've seen people winning some of the games because they win on objectives, even though they get killed more often. So that just makes it so that there's more variability. There's a lot of a strategy and how you're playing, even though overall they simplified things, and especially by taking away the list building. It still, I think, is deep strategically, and again, is sort of that half step down in order to make it more approachable to more people. But overall, they retained all of the great things about Deadzone, the things that I love about Deadzone, and I think this game is really going to be a great beginner or getting more people into tabletop skirmish games. And hopefully a lot of those people will love this game and will want to get into Deadzone, which I think is a little bit of a step up. Even though Halo Flashpoint didn't dumb down the rules for Halo, for those that want a little bit more depth, can take that next step into Deadzone. So super excited about this. And let me share with you what their plans are going into 2025. So they already have the pre-order for Wave 2. So one of the things that it looks like they're going to do is have 2 more sets of Spartans that you can pick from. My guess is that they will probably be similarly identical to each other. So this guy looks like a close combat guy that has a corresponding twin in this character here. Maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. But you're going to get more variety of different Spartans. I know this War Games pack makes it so that you can build different units or army lists with 4 different characters. I don't know how much variety there's going to be with that. You're going to get some 3D terrain, and then you got Cortana here. I'm glad that they're slowly going to be rolling out more variety, because I think at the very beginning, with the game especially geared towards getting new players in, you don't want to overwhelm them with too much choice. So the fact that they're slowly going to be introducing expansions into this game, I think, is really good. This is available for pre-order, and it's going to release again, like I said, in March. And it looks like they're going to have the Ultimate Spartan bundle, which is going to be about $200 US. And that includes the Spartan box and all of the new material. If you already have either the Recon or the other First Wave edition right now, you can opt for the new bundle, and that's all the new material that is going to be made available in March. So I'll probably opt for this. And then it looks like you're able to just buy things separately, or you get the neoprene matte version. Although if you have played Deadzone in the past, you can use any of the Deadzone mats for because it's the same 8x8 squares. So it totally works, and it's 3-inch blocks too. So absolutely works. Deadzone terrain will work as well. And make sure to check out my video where I 3D printed some terrain for this game called Diverger Hold. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in 3D printing out train that's going to work with this set. So my conclusion is if you've never stepped into tabletop wargaming or skirmishes, I think this is fantastic. I think it's way better than Kill Team 2024, way easier to get into. The price point is way more affordable. You get everything in that box, especially the Spartan box is giving you extra. And again, still only at about $120, makes it way cheaper than anything Games Workshop is going to provide. So I think it is a fantastic deal. Even the Recon Edition, which gives you everything that you need for a 2-player game, I think that's a fantastic deal at only $70. So again, use the links below for more information. Go ahead and use the Amazon affiliate links if you are going to purchase, as that helps out the channel a lot. And make comments below if you have tried out this game, how you feel about it. I was a little bit worried that it was going to be too dumbed down of Deadzone, because I love Deadzone so much, but I'm happy to say it's not. There's still a lot of the key features and a level of tactical depth to it that makes it fun to play, where I don't naturally just say, hey, I just want to play Deadzone instead of this. No, definitely there's enough differences here and some fun things that I'm going to continue to play Halo Flashpoint in addition to Deadzone. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, as it helps out the channel a lot. And we will see you next time.